Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this live trading session. I hope you're all well, had a good night's rest, and you're all in good health. So, as usual, this Tuesday morning, I'll just quickly highlight a few points. Obviously, it's opportunity every Tuesday morning for someone to present if you want to and analyze the market for us. But if no one volunteers, I will then go ahead and analyze the markets. We'll have a look at the markets, check for trading opportunities, and afterwards, once we've placed our trades, if those who want to log off, if you have other commitments, you need to get to work, get to your business, or you have other things to do, you're welcome to log off. But for those who have questions, again, this Tuesday morning is an opportunity to ask your questions. Any questions, any problems you're having, then this is the time to ask because I've set this time aside. So this session could last for 10 minutes if there are no questions, or an hour if there are lots of questions. So really all depends on you guys. So if there are lots of questions, I'm here to answer all the questions. If I need to have a look at your platform, assist you with your platform, share your screen, whatever we can. This Tuesday morning session is for all that. Okay, so does anyone want to have a go at telling us what we need to do today in the markets? Do we have any volunteers? Nope. Okay, good. There no, well, I shouldn't say good. I hope you guys, the coming weeks, will be able to volunteer, and I'll do less of the talking. Okay, so if there are no volunteers, I'll go ahead and let's kick off. I'll start with the market analysis. As usual, we start off with the economic calendar. Let me bring that up. Yesterday, actually, let's have just a quick look at yesterday from a teaching point of view. Obviously, yesterday was a public holiday in the USA, Columbus Day. And as we say, if you remember from the teaching, when there's a public holiday in the US or in the UK, because the US being the largest economy in the world and UK being the financial capital of the world, if there's a public holiday in either of those countries, all financial markets tend to trend sideways. So you don't use the words always or never when it comes to trading, but you tend to go with what usually happens. And the market usually trends sideways when there's a public holiday in either of those countries, US or UK. And yesterday was a public holiday in the US, the Columbus Day. And it's always good, especially if you're new to trading, to begin to observe these things for yourself. It's one thing knowing the theory, but when you start to experience it yourself, then that obviously starts to help you in terms of your decision-making going forward as a trader. So you want to experience these things for yourself, make judgments for yourself, and not just go with what Remy says. What Remy says really doesn't matter. It is what you begin to experience yourself and see for yourself in reality that will have more of a bearing on your trading and going forward on your decision making. So I just wanted to highlight that so you can see for yourself yesterday. Yesterday was the 12th of October. So you can see on the chart for the timeline there, from the whole of the 12th of October, you can see the market was just basically trending sideways yesterday. So always good to make these observations and experience these things for yourself. Can you all hear me? Lara says she can't hear me at all. So I don't know if it's just Lara that is unable to hear me or is all of you. Okay, so Okay, so Lara, you might have a problem with your audio. Everyone else can hear me. So you might have to check your audio. Okay, so, well, that's if she could hear me telling her that. But anyway, I just wanted to highlight that it's important you begin to observe those things yourself. You know, seeing that, you know, yesterday, the 12th of October, the market was more or less not going anywhere. But like I say, it's best you start to observe these things yourself. Okay, let's get back to today. So today is Tuesday, the 13th of October. So looking at the economic calendar for today, the main market we're trading is Euro US dollar. So we're looking for reports of high importance, and we also note reports of medium importance that could affect the euro or the US dollar. So let's have a look, 13th of October. So the first one we have, oh, sorry, before I forget, all these times I'll be talking about to be GMT plus 2. There will be GMT plus 2 times. So this is the Rwandan time zone. Obviously, some of you on the call, some of you are based in UK, some of you are based in Nigeria, some of you are based in USA, and some of you are based in Canada. So you make sure you go with your own time zone on the economic calendar. Make sure you change the time zone to your time zone wherever you're located in the world. So the times I will be referring to here are Rwandan times, GMT plus 2. But you go with your own time zone. So you're making sure you're checking the report at the correct time according to wherever you are based in the world. Okay, so the first report of high importance today is at 8 o'clock this morning, Rwandan time. That's in less than an hour's time. So in less than an hour, we have the Germany inflation rate report. Again, I'll repeat, there are 4 reports that are always of extremely high importance. 4 reports that are always of extremely high importance. Inflation rate, which is the consumer price index, gross domestic product, GDP, interest rates, and unemployment. Those 4 reports are always of major importance, especially when it relates to the country that you're trading their currency pair. So of course, we trade in the Euro US dollar, and Germany being the major powerhouse in Europe. So this will certainly impact the Euro US dollar. So that's the first report of high importance throughout today, the Germany inflation rate at 8 o'clock. And at the same time, we also have the UK employment change, which is another report of high importance, anything to do with unemployment. Okay, so that's the first report of high importance coming out this morning. Then at 11 o'clock, again, remember I'm referring to Rwandan time. So at 11 o'clock, at the Euro area, you have the economic sentiment index for the Euro area and Germany. So that's the next report of high importance coming out today at 11 o'clock this morning, Rwandan time. You can just ignore reports of low importance. And at 2:30, again, Rwandan time, we have the US inflation rate. And again, inflation rate or consumer price index is a report of extremely high importance. And as we know, reports of high importance due out from the United States affects all markets. All financial markets are affected by reports of high importance due out from the United States. So the fixed income securities market, the stock market, all currency pairs, commodities market, all markets are affected by reports of high importance due out of the US. And that's it for today. So for today, there are a couple of reports of high importance due out, and the last one of high importance is this report due out of the United States at 2:30 Rwandan time. It's also good to look at the rest of the week to see if there are any reports of mega importance due out later on in the week that could actually impact your trading today. So let's have a look. Next 7 days. Excuse me. So this one, we're just going to quickly browse through it. It's just to look for, there will be some reports of high importance during the week, but it's just to find out if the major ones like the US, the major ones you're really looking out for are interest rates. So if the European Central Bank interest rate is coming out during the week, the US interest rates and the US unemployment rates, those really are the three big ones, really, especially relating to the Euro-US dollar. And because those three reports tend to impact the global markets and they are highly anticipated. The European Central Bank interest rate report, the US interest rate report, and then also the US unemployment report. So those are the three reports that you're really looking out for to see if they're coming out later in the week. Because if those reports are coming out later in the week, there's a high probability of all the markets just trending sideways leading up to those reports, those three particular reports. So for example, if the US interest rate was due out on Wednesday, there's a high chance the markets would trend sideways Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday leading up to the report. The US unemployment report is due out on Friday, which it tends to come out first Friday of every month. Now you find that the markets could trend sideways for the whole week leading up to Friday. So that's why it's important to check the rest of the week so you don't get caught out, so to speak. Okay, let's have a quick scan. So tomorrow is the 14th, that's Wednesday. That's Australia unemployment, China inflation. So really, those ones don't really bother us much. That's the Euro area inflation rate, retail sale. So yeah, so that there are no major reports of high importance coming out for the rest of the week that would stop us trading today. So, but again, it's always good to check. So now we know that there's nothing major coming out for the rest of the week. We can concentrate on today, trade today. So back to today, always remember from a money management point of view, you always have 3 attempts at the markets every day. So technically you have 3 attempts at the market every day, and you do not want to overtrade. Because if you overtrade, if you start placing 5, 10 trades a day, you're just going to wipe yourself out. So never forget money management. So from a money management point of view, you want to limit your attempts in the market to 3 attempts a day. Now, you then decide when you have those 3 attempts. So let me remind you all what I mean by 3 attempts. So if you place your first trade of the day, your first live attempt, if that first live attempt ends up as a profitable trade and you achieve your profit target, and in our scenario, we're going for 60 pips profit target. So if you achieve your profit target of 60 pips with your first trade, then you end your trading for the day. So if your first attempt is successful, you end your trading for the day. If your first attempt ends up in a loss, and in our case, we're going with a 20 pips stop loss. If your first trade ends up in a loss, then you can go for a second attempt on that same day. If that second attempt ends up as a profitable trade, as you get your 60 pips, then you stop trading. If that second trade is a losing trade, so it's now your second loss of 20 pips, then you can go on to your third and final trade. And then if that third trade is successful, you stop. If that third trade is unsuccessful, you also stop. So that's what we mean by having 3 attempts a day. So it's not that you have to have 3 trades. So like I said, if your first trade is successful, that will be it. You only have 1 for that day and stop. Okay, so you have 3 attempts at the market every day. So it's now you deciding, when should I have my first attempt in the market? When should I have my second attempt in the market? And when should I have my third attempt at the market? So that's the way you can approach, or make it easy for you to decide how to use those attempts. So again, this is where discretion comes in, personal choice, so you can just decide, okay, I don't mind having my first attempt at a certain scenario. And if I lose out, okay, I'll have a second attempt. So again, you just decide how you use those 3 attempts, well, so long as you do not have you don't have more than 3 attempts at the market of the day. Now, the reason why I'm saying all that is that ideally, and again, this is the beauty about trading. All what I taught you during the course is just an ideal, but every day and in every situation, you can modify things according to what the market presents on that day. So ideally, you do not want to trade till the last report of high importance on that day. So for today, Tuesday, the 13th of October, the last report of high importance today is the US inflation rate at 2:30 Rwandan time. This is the last report of high importance for today. So there's a high probability of the markets trending sideways prior to the last report of high importance. So ideally, you want to keep out of the markets, just switch off your platform, go and do something else, and just start trading, or come back and analyze the market just before this report and start looking for opportunities there. So that's ideally what you want to do, is just completely leave the markets alone. Don't place any pending orders, leave the markets alone. Wait till 2:30 Rwandan time and then trade this US report coming out at 2:30. And then you can have your first attempt at the market around that time. So that's the ideal thing to do. But today, because the German inflation rate is coming out at 8 in about 40 minutes time, because the German report is coming out at 8, which are interesting, is also the same time as the US and the UK employment change report, there is a possibility that, especially with the Euro US dollar, there is a possibility that this German inflation rate might move the markets. And it's also equally of high importance, inflation rate. So for today, I am not suggesting you do it, but I'm just saying and again, this is where, slight differences come up with trading. You need to do what you are comfortable with. Because like I said, ideally, yes, you want to keep out of the markets till the report at 2:30, the last report, the US report. But yes, I'm just saying because this German report is also extremely high significance. There's a possibility it could move the market. So I would then say, okay, in my case, I wouldn't mind having my first attempt at the market around 8 o'clock Rwandan time, and place my orders just before this report comes out at 8 o'clock, in the event that this report moves the market. So I'm happy to have my first attempt around that. Now, if I lose out on this first attempt around this time, then yes, I will then wait till this last report. I will skip all these reports here. I'll wait for this last report at 2:30 before I then have my second attempt at the market, if I lose out on this first attempt. So that's the way you approach each day, is saying, okay, I have 3 attempts at the market. How am I going to use it? And you decide depending on, obviously, like I say, every day is different. And as for those who've been coming for the Tuesday sessions for a while now, I'm sure you appreciate that. For those who are just joining us, you begin to appreciate every day is different. Every day you have to just approach each day on its own merit. yesterday, for example, yesterday was a public holiday in the US. So yesterday, no trading at all. So yesterday is different from today. Today, there are no public holidays today. There are no reports of major importance coming out this week, later on the week. But we have a couple of reports of high importance today that you then have to decide, okay, when would you like to place your own first trade? So this is just showing you that there's really no hard and fast rule. Yes, there's the important basics. There's important things you need to know that, yes, you know, the market tends to trend sideways prior to reports of high importance. So all those sorts of, you know, important basics that you should know and apply, but then how you then apply it on a day-to-day basis. Today is a good example that things can vary depending on what the market throws at you that day. So yes, so I will not place any pending orders now, but about 10 minutes before this report, I will then reassess the market and probably place my pending orders then just before the report is announced. Of course, I'll place that on the platform. What I do just before then, will be posted on the platform. So for now, I'm not going to do anything. I'll wait till 10 minutes before that report before I place any. Still analyze the markets. So we'll start with the swing trading. So again, for the swing trading, I use the daily time frame. And again, we're currently in a live swing trade together. We bought when the market broke the moving average 50. We currently have, you can see the order is still in place. The 100 pips stop loss is still in place. We're waiting for the market to move about 100 pips in that direction before we start to move the moving average with them, move our stop loss with the moving average. So for now, there's nothing for us to do with the trade. The trade is still live, it's still active, but it hasn't yet moved 100 pips in that direction. So we still have the 100 pips stop loss in place. So nothing for us to do with the swing trade. And so that's it for the swing trade till tomorrow. So let's go to the day trade. So we'll come to the 5-minute time frame. So looking at the 5-minute time frame, again, we can see that the market is currently trending sideways. It's all over the place. Currently shot initially went up a bit there, went sideways, it's come back down, it's going back up, so it's all over the place. So I will take all this as a sideways trend and mark a high point and recent low point. So that high point there is, looking at the data window, the high point there is 1.18164, but around that up to 1.1817. So 1817. So we'll just say that's the high. Okay, and that's the recent lowest point, and that's 1.1786, 1786. That's just a low. Okay, so as usual, that's the first thing you want to do when you analyze your chart, is to determine the trend. And I've just determined now is trending sideways. I've marked out my sideways trend. That's the highest point of the sideways trend, the lowest point. And as we can see clearly, the pivot point and S1 are both within the sideways trend. So currently I can use the pivot point or S1 to trade. R1 is outside the sideways trend, and also S2. But of course, using the pivot point strategy, I can use S2 to trade. So currently, the only possible entry point using the pivot point strategy would be a buy just above R1 if the market goes up. But again, like I said, I'm not going to place any pending orders now. I'll wait till just before the report at 8 o'clock before I place my pending orders, and I'll reassess the market again. But if the market is still trending sideways 10 minutes before the Germany report, I would then place a pending buy order just above R1, but there are no sell opportunities because if the market falls, I can't use S1 to trade because it's within the sideways trend. The market itself hasn't formed the market support, and I can't use S2 to trade. So there are no opportunities to sell for me using my trading strategies that I use, and no sell opportunities if the market falls. Again, like I said, if you speak to 1 million traders, you'll get 1 million different strategies. So long as you understand your strategy and you're clear of your entry points, you can use them. But using my own strategies of the market support or market resistance or the pivot point strategy, there are no sell opportunities. And if the market goes up, I can't use the pivot because it's within the sideways trend. So the first available, the market hasn't formed the market resistance. So the only place I can buy is just above R1. So that's my plan for today. Obviously not to place any orders now, wait till just before the January report, reassess then, and then place my pending orders then, and I'll post that on the platform. Just before we take questions, it's just to remind you all, well, not to remind you, just to tell you, I haven't mentioned it before, so it's not a reminder, I haven't. So because I'm getting fed up of switching from my FX Primers live account to the IG demo account, I've now opened, not funded my live IG account. Let me just quickly go over to it. So I've now funded my IG account with £500. And the plan now is that from next week, Monday, this is the account I'm going to be using to trade. Obviously, I'll still be using my FX Primers live trading account, but from a teaching point of view and the post I'll be putting on the platform, including the account history, it will be now from this live account. So at least we're going to all do it together. We'll trade live. So this is real £500. This is real money. So from Monday morning, this is the account I'm going to be using on the platform, trading using this live account. And that's what I'll be posting on the platform, and also the account history on every Friday. So I will, from next week, I'll be using the spreadsheet. It will just be, obviously, you all should continue using your spreadsheet to monitor your trades, monitor yourself as to, you know, the end of the trading day. Was it a good day? What you observed in the market? But I just want to let you know that from next week, Monday, this is a live account I'm going to be using, so that you can all then see how we progress with this live account in a real life situation. So just to let you guys know that. Okay, so any questions? If you have any questions, you can either raise your hand or send it through the question box. Like I said at the beginning, if there are no questions, the session would end. If there are questions, I'll take all your questions. So like I said, how quick or how long or how short this session will be, like I said, depends on you all. Any questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, I think we can all go for, let's go for our breakfast. Okay, good. So there are no questions. Thanks, Ozzy. So there are no questions. All right, so there are no questions. I wish you all a good day.